Isn't it indicative of the times that we live in regards to the AAA Western gaming industry that a studio so once renowned for cranking out such high-quality titles like Crash Bandicoot, the Uncharted series, the first Last of Us game can come and celebrate 40 years. 40 years as a studio, and nobody really cares because they held a moment of recognition last week. They put out like a 7-minute long video cataloging their history, and it's interesting just how condensed a lot of their best output was, and how in recent years and over the past decade, when it comes to individual releases, they put out one game 5 years ago, and I think that they probably put out more remasters of that game than individual years that have passed. Actually, I think it's shockingly close. But yes, Naughty Dog's official 40th anniversary retrospective came and went, and nobody paid attention to it. Like, I didn't see anything. Like, this was last Wednesday, and it got zero coverage, mostly because everybody knows what Naughty Dog has become at one point in time, especially when the Uncharted series was cranking all the way up until 4. Like, 4 is one of those games where I enjoyed it, but the narrative definitely got in the way. When you start to figure out who exactly had a lot more sway into that, then it starts to make a lot of sense as to why it didn't land the same way that the original trilogy did, when Amy Hennig had the pen, as opposed to when Neil Druckmann grabbed it after pushing Amy in front of a bus. But in regards to the studio celebrating its 40th anniversary, we are quickly coming upon another anniversary, and that would be the 1-year anniversary of the announcement of their next title, Intergalactic Heretic Prophet. And it's interesting because we know shockingly little about this title. We don't really have a release date, and there are some sites that are out there that are saying that it could entirely, and I think IGN has it right over there in one of their little, videos as well, that it could entirely miss the PS5 generation. Now, with the Game Awards coming up, where it was first announced last year, I'd imagine we might get a little bit more information because people are starting to talk about it. And yes, we've heard from earlier this year as well with Tati, Gabrielle, the bald-headed protagonist, coming out and, railing against fans, talking about how wonderful and great and what a genius Neil Druckmann is, but not really letting us know anything about the game. But probably the most illuminating interview comes from somebody who is a veteran of working with Naughty Dog, after all, one of the best voiced actors that's out there, all things considered. And so we have Troy Baker makes first comments about Naughty Dog's Intergalactic game. Oh, interesting. So why is Troy the first one breaking the news on this one? So Troy Baker has broken his silence about reuniting with Druckmann on Intergalactic, Naughty Dog's next big game. Naughty Dog is up there with Rockstar Games when it comes to developers who have set the bar high for themselves. It's like, I kind of had to read through the rest of that sentence in order to figure out. It's like, you want to put Naughty Dog, okay, at this point in time, on the same level as Rockstar, you're gonna have to give us some context to that, other than, it takes them a long time to come around to releasing a title. Although Naughty Dog has been around for many decades, in fact, the developer really began to break into an upper echelon with the industry, yes, with Uncharted. Well, come on, I think Crash was pretty significant, okay? He was the mascot for PlayStation back in the cut, and then, yes, The Last of Us. Keep on milking that. Oh my god, it's so pathetic. These highly cinematic, yes, character-driven action games receive praise from fans and critics alike. Yeah, in regards to Uncharted, the first 3, the Uncharted 2, a massive success. Tremendous game. And then 4, and then with The Last of Us, yeah, the first game, but the gameplay, really excellent. Yeah, not really. The story, quite excellent, okay? Like, you got an 8 story and 6 gameplay with a couple of good hooks. I mean, like, yeah, okay, it's gonna land, it's gonna stand the test of time. Obviously it has. And in regards to The Last of Us Part 2, what's the only thing that is remembered? 4! Yeah, exactly. Oh, and women with impossible anatomies during the post-apocalypse, but I digress. For Naughty Dog's next game, the developer is going to space with Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. After years of silence, the game is officially unveiled last year at the Game Awards, although some fans have hoped that the developer was working on The Last of Us Part 3. Oh, no, that's not coming out. That's other information that we got this year as well, that Druckmann's like, don't anticipate Part 3, okay? Like, we're pretty much done. And after the release of Intergalactic, probably done as a studio. Although I'm going back to this, not much is known about the game, but it will follow a bounty hunter who is searching for a crime syndicate on a remote planet. Intergalactic is expected to still be a couple of years away from releasing, so we will likely remain in the dark for a bit longer. But yeah, just a couple of things, okay? Troy Baker sat down for an exclusive conversation about his role in Intergalactic, knowing how precious PlayStation and Naughty Dog are about keeping things under wrap. No spoilers, no big juicy details, instead just talking about reuniting with Druckmann, about how wonderful he is. I've had a hell of a career, the industry owes me nothing, what a ride. I don't think that I deserve or need any more, but I'm enjoying it now and I understand more about game development. I enjoy the process much more than I do the credit. And some of my games that I look back on and go, man, I've learned so much, and they're not Game of the Year contenders, no BAFTA noms associated with them. My reward was in more ephemeral qualities than money or accolades or even recognition, so I'm enjoying the position that I have, and I still feel it's a very important position with Intergalactic, which is a diametrically opposed position to what Naughty Dog is all about, because they are all about the superficial, they are all about the accolades, they are all about the industry praise, which is so interesting because we circle all the way back around in regards to that 40th anniversary live stream, and well, you take a look at the people that they decided to put out there, and I spared you all from watching this, and you got Hallie Gross, probably the only person that is really contributing to the games, but she's kind of got a couple of warning signs, and then the one that's the most obvious is like, yeah, super problematic, right? But then you got, yeah, senior technical artist, yes, a technical artist with some of the worst green screen you are likely to see on a Zoom call, and then, yeah, Arnie Meyer, head of culture and communications. That's the best that you can do? Oh, no, the best that you could do is the director of comms, Rochelle Snyder, and well, it's interesting because you can kind of see what's going on here in this video, and well, your eyes are not deceiving you. In fact, there's a blur, okay? You can actually see everything, yeah, on their timeline. I don't think they blurred out the rainbow. I don't know why they blurred out the rainbow on her shirt. Yeah, and it's interesting because we got the segment here, just a little 17 seconds. And we don't even need to play the full 17 seconds. I just find it highly ironic, the statement that is first made.
Meaning?
That is the core of our craft, is authenticity.
Lol. And what do you do? Okay, what's the core of our craft? Blurring the rainbow, like, okay, it's a very good blur job, but it's obviously, yeah, it's a rainbow something. Okay, it's a rainbow logo for something, and I would imagine the way that everybody else is dressed, and this is a 40th anniversary for Naughty Dog. Why are you doing this? Okay, this is the studio that bet the farm on Ellie. She's gay, you know, and now you want to start walking back your political positions? Oh, that's interesting stuff that you're doing. Now, ostensibly, there's nothing political about being gay, but the way that Naughty Dog does this, by putting it to the front of everything that they do, by making it a point of contention instead of it being an ancillary quality of the characters in the games and the stories that they're telling, they put it up front and purposeful. So now that they feel the need to do a little bit of course correction, now of course this could just be a potential spoiler for something. It could be 100 different things that has nothing to do about silencing gay voices. But now that this has been brought to light, I could very much imagine that in the coming days there's going to be a certain section of new Naughty Dog fans that are going to be taking umbrage with this. Meanwhile, the rest of us old Naughty Dog fans are just simply waiting for more information on Intergalactic and how terrible and catastrophic that shitty-ass game is going to be. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.